Hi everyone, time for video number 2. Before I go to that, I just want to point out some spreadsheets you get may have many tabs on the bottom, and this is one of those spreadsheets. So I just wanted to show you, if you have a spreadsheet that has many pages, you can just click on the tab and you will get the data on the next page. So these are just like different pages on a website. Works the same way. Okay. So in this video, we want to talk about descriptive statistics, the 5-number summary, and I want to give you a few formulas that you can look at, okay? So this is data from students. I gave a survey the last time I taught this class on ground. Gave a survey because we wanted some data that we could use for examples in class. And one of the questions I asked them was their gender, and another one I asked them was their height in inches. And this is the data that I got back from them. So I want to look at the 5-number summary and just using some formulas and do a little bit of sorting and things like that. And so let's do that. The first thing I want to do though, whenever I have data, is I want to look at the data and I want to clean it up. This has to do with data integrity, with ethical treatment of data. There are some rules for data integrity, which in this class, yeah, we're in class, you won't have to worry about it for class, but when you get out into the real world, if you are working with any data, you want to be sure to follow these rules. One of the rules is you always keep a copy of your original data. So if you need to change your data for any reason, you do it on a copy, not on your original. That data, original data, needs to be available to anybody who wants to inspect it. The second thing is, if you ever do make a change on your copy of the data, not on the original, that you always write what you did to the data and why you did it, so that people can keep track, that you're not trying to manipulate your data at all. There are a couple of things in here that I had marked. This is a copy of the original data, and I want to take a look at it. So the student said, asked the students to enter their height in inches, and I've marked a few of them here. Here's a female who says that she's 172 inches tall. I don't think that that's correct. 172 inches, that's more than 10 feet. So I have a feeling that this person either had a typo or maybe she was thinking of, I don't know, centimeters, possibly, I don't know. In this case, I would remove this data. So I'm just going to highlight it with my mouse and click delete. And then I would say original or removed, suspect typo. Okay. I've got another one marked down here too. Here's a male who says he's 90 feet. That's also way too tall. Okay, 90 feet, that's more than 8 feet tall. So again, I would remove it and I would type removed suspect typo. Down here, I have a female who put 5.8 inches. I didn't have any leprechauns in the class, so I don't think she's really 5.8 inches tall. I suspect she was 5'8". If I knew what was intended, if I knew for a fact that this was 5'8", then I would change this to be, let's see, 5'8" is 68 inches, so I would change it. In this case, it's been so long, I don't remember what the student's original intentions were. So again, I'm going to remove that data. And again, you won't need to do this on your homework. You won't have it on anything in this class, but you may work with data outside of class. And in that case, we want to make sure that you're not breaking any rules. We don't want you to get in trouble or anything when you do anything in the real world. Okay, so there's the first thing I want to do. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to talk about descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics are things like the mean, which you're studying in class this week, the median, the mode. We're going to have a standard deviation. And we're actually going to have 2 of these, but I'm just going to work with one of them right now. Okay, things like the max of your data, the largest number, We're going to study quartiles, so I'm going to put in Q3 to indicate my third quartile. I'm going to put the median here again for a reason, you'll see why. And then the first quartile, I'm going to type a Q1 for my first quartile and the minimum of the data. We could also have a count of the data. How much data do we have? There are a lot of things we can calculate. So I just want to show you how to calculate these things in Excel, because this is something that the template won't do for us. For the mean, the formula in Excel for mean is average. It's a built-in formula. So I'm going to type equals to tell Excel that it wants to calculate. Then I'm going to type the word average and open parentheses. And I can, on the first video, we had, the first number colon the second number. I'm going to show you another way to do this. I'm going to click on the first, and I'm holding my mouse down. So hold your mouse or your trackpad down, and then just scroll to the bottom. Whoops, right there. Lift it, and now I'm going to close parentheses. And it doesn't matter that I can't see the formula. The formula is right up here. I can see it. So I type my close parentheses and press enter, and it takes me back to where I was, and there's the mean of the data, the average, mean. I wish, Bill Gates is a really smart guy, but I wish he hadn't used the word average to talk about how to calculate a mean. But anyway, that's another thing. So there's the mean of the data. Median works the same way. Median, and then click on the first one, scroll down to the very bottom, hit parentheses. And again, oops, double click. You can see the formula, median, from the first to the last with parentheses. These formulas do not count in any blank cells. If you have a blank cell, it just ignores it. So even though we had taken some data out, that won't affect my result at all. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, mode is a little different. You can see, whoops, let's come back here. You can see I've got 3 different formulas for mode. We've got mode.mult, mode.single, and then mode with the little error. The little error sign says that this is from an earlier version of Excel. And so it will work in old versions, but there are really better formulas to use at this point. And here's what happens. You probably have read in the book that there can be more than one mode. You might have a tie in your mode. So you may have 2 or more things that have the same number of entries. And in that case, you would use mode.mult. I'm going to choose mode.mult right now. I guess I'm going to have to type it. Okay, I'm going to open parentheses. I'm going to come highlight all my data. Excuse me. Whoops, come back here, scrolling way back up to my data, close my parentheses, press enter. And in this case, there's only one number. If there was more than one mode, it would fill down. So you would have many, many cells. Okay, so if this was multimodal data, all of the modes would be displayed. It would just automatically fill down. And then I would just move my standard deviation, all of these other things down and calculate them later. Okay, there's another calculation called standard deviation. The formula for that is STDEV, and we'll have 2 of them that we need. We'll have a .P and a .S. We'll talk about the differences later, but at this point in the class, we're going to use .S. And again, I open my parentheses. I highlight all my data. I'm going to show you a quicker way to do this. I don't know if it'll work in a Mac, but I do know it will work in a PC. If I click on the first data, my hands are off of the computer completely, and then I press Control and Shift, and I'm holding them down. So while I'm holding them down, I'm pressing the down arrow. It will go to the first space. Now I know I have data below that, so I'm going to click again, and I'm going to click until I'm just continuing to hold the control and the shift and continuing to press the down arrow on my computer. And that gets me to the bottom of the data. And then I'll close my parentheses and press enter. So there's our standard deviation. Formula for max is, every formula begins with an equal. Max, same thing. Highlight your data. And again, because I have spaces in my data, I have to hit the down arrow more than once. So the tallest person in our class was 74 inches tall. For quartile equals, I'm going to type the word quartile. And again, there are three different. You see an old one for an old version of Excel. I believe that our book uses .inc. Whoops. Sorry about that. Let's try this again. Quartile.inc, open parentheses, come up to the top, highlight all your data, close parentheses. Whoop. Oh, and of course I have an error, so let's look at what's wrong with that. When I look at the quartile formula, it says array, that's your data, and then it has a comma. I need to have a comma, and then I need to tell it which quartile I want, and it gives me a little help here. I want the third quartile. I decided that I'm calculating the third quartile, so for the third quartile I need to put in the number 3. So I'm just going to enter the number 3 there. There's 67. Calculate the median. I'm going to do it again, just because I can. First quartile, quartile.inc, open parentheses. The first thing I need to enter is the array. Whoops, and I close parentheses. I'm just going to backspace, comma, and I'm looking for the first quartile, so I press a 1 for that. And the minimum, the formula is just min. Okay, so here's the mean. I'm just going to show you the formulas. Average for the mean, median for the median, mode.mult for the mode. Right now we're using standard deviation.s. Okay. Max for the maximum. Q3 is quartile.inc for including your data, a comma, and then which quartile you want. We wanted the third here. Median we did, quartile 1, same idea, quartile.inc, your data, comma, and then a 1 because we want the first quartile, and min. Okay. All right. So we also might want to count how much data we have. So I'm going to put in the formula equals count, open it up, and I'm going to start at C1 and move down, and we'll talk about why. Well, not why, but I want to show you something in a minute. I had 80 students. You might be wondering about this top. If I took that out, it doesn't change. If I put it back in, the count doesn't change. The function count only counts numerical data. So if I have something in here that has words or it's not a numerical, it won't count it, no worries. Okay. Suppose I did want to count. Over here, maybe I wanted to count how many males and how many females. I can use a count A to count how many total things that are not numbers, but I would rather use a count if. So formula for this is equals, everything begins with an equal, count if, open my parentheses, I'm going to highlight all my data. Okay, and again, this formula has two things. It has a range and a comma criteria. So I'm going to put a comma. I'm going to scroll back up. We want the number of males, so I'm going to type in quotation marks, male, and I'm going to exactly the same way that it's spelled over there. So if it's capitalized, I capitalize it. So I had 10 males. I don't know what's going on with my little USB here. All right, now we'll count the females. Count if, so it only counts the things that are females. Highlight all my data. Let's scroll to the top. We've got some problems going on here. So let's just say B1 down to B100, comma, and in quotation marks, female, and close parentheses. Let's see what we have. So 10 males, 70 females, 80 altogether, everything checks out. Okay. So count is a good thing to know about, and count if is a good thing to know about. Let's see, descriptive statistics. These are all descriptive statistics. The 5-number summary is the max, the Q3, the median, the Q1, and the min. So there's your 5-number summary right there. Count, count A. We did count if instead. I think that's better. We want to also talk about sorting. All right, we may want to sort these. If I sort them alphabetically by column B, then I can sort the males out from the females. I also might want to have the tallest. I might want to arrange them from tallest to shortest. In Excel, the way you sort is you highlight your data first. And then you come up here to this little funnel where it says sort and filter. Just going to take this out all completely. Let me highlight my data again. I come over to this little funnel. I'm in the Home tab, first of all. I come to sort and filter. If you don't see it, expand your window to make sure that Excel fills up the whole window. Come to sort and filter, and I'm not going to click on it. I'm going to click on the little down arrow right there, that little V, that's a down arrow, and I want to choose custom sort. And now I can sort a lot of different ways. Maybe I want to sort by gender. I'm going to come over here and make sure that this is clicked. My data has headers, and I'm going to sort by gender. If that's not clicked, then when I sort by, oh, it only gives the columns, and it thinks that the first column is actual data. My first column is actual a header. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to sort by gender. Okay, and I can either go A to Z, so females would be first and then males would be last. Because I have fewer males, I want to sort from Z to A. We'll put male first and female second because there are fewer males. And then OK. And sure enough, the males first and then the females. I might also want to sort within this. So again, I have my data highlighted. I'm going to go to my down arrow, custom sort. I've got sorted by gender. I'm going to add a level. and then by height. Maybe I want to go shortest to tallest. So that's what I have now, shortest to tallest. Or if I wanted to go tallest to shortest, I could just change that there. So now I'm going to sort by height, first by gender, all the males on top, and the males will be tallest to shortest, and then below that females, and they'll be tallest to shortest as well. So let's see. Yeah, the tallest male is 74. All the males are first. And they go from tallest to shortest, and then the tallest female, and the females are going down as well. So they're sorting. Okay. All right. We'll talk about the analysis tool pack later in the semester. All right. Well, no, let's talk about it now. I'll do it in a separate video. We'll do the analysis tool pack in a separate video. So that's enough for this second video, and I'll see you on the third one.